it's an incredible place. But our speaker has completely changed my perspective on what wellness and community means. So I'm thrilled to have him today. So Joey, come on up.
It's me, the audience. That's me. First, speaking of perspective, I'm out taking a walk last night before this because, to be honest with you, I'm as nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs right now. Speaking to you guys, I speak a lot in front of people, but usually they're doing burpees and doing squats, and they're not really all eyes on me, they're busy. So I'm out taking a walk from Ethos on Cutie Street, and I'm going through Hampton Park, and I get to Hampton Park, and I see the statue of Denmark Vesey. And if you don't know who he is, in 1800, he was a slave. He bought himself out of slavery. And I'm just thinking right then and there, we're having a free cup of coffee this morning. And that's perspective right there, just thinking about him in 1800. And then I get to the Citadel, and I start walking around there, and they have this beautiful memorial for all the Citadel cadets from the Civil War, World War I, World War II, to Iraq freedom, and all the people that have passed away that were Citadel cadets. And on the statue in the middle, it says, "Speak softly, as you are amongst heroes." And, we can go a million different ways with perspective. When Heidi was helping me prepare this for the last 3 weeks, we started out here, and then we finally dwindled it down to a couple things. But it's an easy topic to talk about, but also it's a little hard because I could sit here and talk for hours about perspective. Before we get into this, I want to thank the Cedar Room for hosting this event. I did get married here to my wife 75 days ago, so also, thank you to CreativeMornings. What a cool product. If this is your first time here, go to more, you'll learn a lot more than what you're going to learn from me today. I've been to a few of them, and it's such a cool product that they put out, as you can see. Also, Christian, I think I can sit down and you can just do the rest of the talk. That's real talent and master of this craft. I also want to thank Heidi Bradley, right here. All of this keeping me focused, because I can go off, which you will see. This woman did it, all right? And for the last 3 weeks and millions of other things that she does for me and our team at Ethos, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be standing right here giving this talk to you guys. So to get rolling, all right, I'm an average Joe. There's nothing special about me. I know I'm 6'3", 215 pounds of muscle, as you can tell. I didn't even get 1,000 on the SAT. I got 980, I believe. So I'm honored to be here. Stephanie, thank you. I'm sure there's more qualified people in this room that could be here right now speaking about perspective. But once again, thank you so much for that. Before we get rolling also, I want to say a couple things I'm super proud of, all right? And I'm proud to be the son of my parents. I'm proud to be the husband of my wife. And then most certainly, I am proud to be a part of the Ethos team because in Best Buy, if it wasn't for them, there would be no Ethos. And I went to this conference last summer, and the head strength coach for Florida Atlantic University said this wonderful quote before he got started. And I thought it was amazing. And obviously, he borrowed it from somebody, but I'm the creator of nothing, the borrower of everything. And my dad and I got in a little bit of an argument about this discussion. And I agreed to disagree. And I understand what he's saying, like, you created this, you created that. And what I mean by it is, I wouldn't have created Ethos without some of the people that are in this stands right now. I wouldn't have created it without my parents. I wouldn't have created it without my strength coach. So in my opinion, I'm just a recipe, and all of you and everybody that's touched my life, whether it was for a day, 20 years ago, or somebody that's been with me for 37 days, you're an ingredient that created this recipe. So to me, I'm a creator of nothing but a borrower of everything. And then everything you're about to hear, I got from a book, I got from a podcast, I got from a mentor, a friend. I got a 980, guys. 980. There's not much there. Right? So, I like to break things down, which again, because there's not much up there. I like to make things simple. Okay, so I'm trying to make this simple today. Perspective is super broad. Okay, super broad. We can talk about all sorts of things. But the two things that I want to talk about today, and the two things I want you to walk away with, okay, is be curious and appreciate the little things. All right, it's very funny because we had that up on that slide for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and she gets, you know how Instagram thinks about everything that you're thinking about somehow. She gets a Ted Lasso clip, and it comes to her, and it's a scene from Ted Lasso, and he quotes Walt Whitman. Walt Whitman says, "Be curious, not judgmental." And that is what I mean by being curious. And it's so funny that that happened last night, just last night after 3 or 4 weeks. So, be curious. All right, I want you to understand I've met the most curious person I've ever met in the world is my grandfather. All right, and that's him right there, Harold Wellman. That's us at the Citadel, that's Dad, him and I on Follow Beach plowing some sandwiches. But what I want you to know about him and be curious, and what I've learned from him over the years is when I was younger, I'm like, why the hell are we still here talking to this guy? Why are we talking to this woman? What are we doing? The man would go, and instead of going to an ATM, he'd go in the bank so he could talk to the bank tellers. All right, he'd be in there, no joke, for an hour or so. But like, just to give you a little perspective, and we'll get into this a little deeper, but now that I think about it, I'm saying it to you. I didn't plan on saying this, but one of the bank tellers was one of his, ended up being, she was a woman, and an Asian woman, and they became best friends later in his last years. And she was actually at his funeral. So that shows you the impact that he made, okay? But he was a man that would ask questions, okay? What are you doing today? Why do you do this for a career? Where are you from? All right. Another funny thing was he was from Connecticut. And somehow, if he was sitting in this room right now, he'd figure out in 7 degrees of separation how you were connected to Connecticut in some way. But the other thing about him, and I'm going to repeat this a couple times, is he had a great capacity for listening. He had a great capacity for listening. And I don't think we do that enough anymore. All right? And you'll see on the next slide here in a second, but we have some people that ask questions that are curious, and that's great. Then you have some people that ask questions that they want to hear what you're saying, but while you're saying it, they're already thinking of their next thought, what they're going to say. And then you have people that will ask you questions and they'll put their phone away, they'll look you in the eyes, and they'll look deeply into your eyes. You'll say what you say, and then they'll take a pause and come up with their solution to it. And they're intently listening. Okay, that to me is being curious. All right? And then also think about this, creating a bigger capacity for listening. Be a phenomenal listener. That's one thing. Another thing I'd like you to leave with today. So, oh, I forgot. I screw up things a lot. Funny thing is, this is me in front of Ethos, one of our first workouts outside, probably because we weren't allowed to go in there and work out or something when we were building it out. But there's two reasons I have that picture up there. If you were curious if Red Roof Inn sells apparel, my grandfather found a hat. And when he passed away, I went in his closet and I said, I'm taking that hat. It's a Red Roof Inn hat. I don't even know if Red Roof Inns still exist. But the other thing about that photo is, if it wasn't for that man, 19 years ago, right down the street, there used to be an IMAX theater right next to the aquarium. And also in that same building was a gym. We came out of the IMAX theater, this was after my freshman year at the Citadel, and I needed a summer job. And we come out of the IMAX theater and there was a gym, and he pushes me across, and he said, go be curious and ask them for a job. And I walked in there, I liked working out because of baseball, but I didn't know I wanted to be in the gym industry. But 19 years ago, before that picture was taken, if it wasn't for him, I don't know if there would be an Ethos Athletic Club. So, next. We just talked about it a little, okay? So, ask questions, listen. If you're looking at this graph, basically the way Heidi made this beautiful thing, all right? The more color, the better, okay? This is that first person. You know, when you're asking a question, when you're talking to someone who's distracted, you'll stop talking. So if you're looking at your phone, even if your phone's out, it's a distraction. Put it away, put it in your pocket, okay? Number two, when you're talking to someone who is listening, you'll keep talking, but you know, that's that person that's already thinking of the rebuttal, okay, what they're gonna talk about next. And then the third one, when you're talking to someone who is fully present, you'll share what really matters. Be curious, not judgmental. By asking, by listening, you create care and connection, in my opinion. Okay. And I'm bringing this all up because I feel as though in this world right now, that I've noticed, especially over the last 10 years, is there's so much social media and internet, things like that, we're so quick to judge and make assumptions. And we don't take the time to ask those questions, to really learn about somebody. And I'm just gonna do it, because I don't get many platforms to speak on the stage, and it's a pretty hot topic. But, you know, I'm in the middle of this, and that person posts something on Facebook that says they want to they want full gun control. They don't want anybody having it, you know? You never know. You can sit there and assume and judge and hate on them for saying that. How do you know that their niece or nephew, or somebody, a friend of theirs, was in that movie theater in Colorado years ago? Now, it would affect you differently. All right, and the other side of it is also, this person does like guns, things like that. They grew up in a family that goes hunting every Thanksgiving. Nothing wrong with that. But you can't assume by just looking at pictures. You don't know the story, okay? The other thing, and ultimately what I want to talk about, ask, listen, creates care, connection, success equals impact, all right? I said it a little bit with my grandfather, okay? That bank teller showed up at his funeral. That bank teller still communicates with my dad. We're all chasing this watch that we're wearing on our wrist, what kind of car we're driving, that big house, how big our bank account is. But ultimately, what matters in this world is the impact that you make on others, all right? And to me, the greatest thing about Ethos is I got 1,500 members that I get to see every day. I'm trying to remember their names. That doesn't work very well with me. The other thing is I have this beautiful team that I'm a part of, and watching them grow and learn, it's just the impact on that. I don't care how much money that gym makes. That's what I'll always remember whenever I'm done and retired, and when I'm in my grave. You know, I hope that there's multiple different generations at my funeral of people that I've impacted from 8 years old to 10 years old. To me, that is the ultimate success. And my man, the best actor that's walking the face of earth right now, Denzel Washington said it best, is you never see a U-Haul behind the hearse. All right, you can't take any of this stuff with you. And Dr. Maya Angelou said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. That is one of the most wonderful quotes to me. And at Ethos, that is our job. People think it's about fitness, and they're all sitting right there, and I can tell you right now, it's ingrained in them. It's not about fitness, it's about people, all right? It's about hospitality, it's about making somebody's day better, okay? Because you never know what can happen by making somebody's day better. Ooh, for that. We're quiet. Like I said, 980. So, my favorite days in school were when the teacher rolled out that TV. So I got a little clip for you guys. All right, well, there's a few things today that we got out of this talk. All right, you got Christian, who is phenomenal, master of his craft. You got coffee, I had some breakfast for free. And then, who has not seen Good Will Hunting? Wow, actually a lot less than I thought. I was afraid.
They're too young.
Yeah. And what I mean by all this is, no matter what I say today, you got coffee, you got food, you got an awesome musician, poet, and now you've got an unbelievable movie that you need to go rewatch. When I heard perspective, when Steph brought this to me, the first thing that popped in my head, I don't know why, was this clip. And it's stuck with me for the last 4 weeks. And there's 3 things I want to take away from this clip. That brilliant acting by Robin Williams. It is, look at him talking about experiences and how experiences create perspective. And what I challenge you guys to do is get uncomfortable. Go take that trip. Go take that workout class that you've never taken before. Go read a different kind of book that you've never read before. Go speak to somebody that you don't even know in a Starbucks and just say hi to them. Come up and talk about perspective when the only thing you can really talk about are the New York Yankees and health and wellness. Get out of your box. It creates perspective. The other thing is, notice how he wants to learn. He wants to learn about Matt Damon. The depths of you. I'm fascinated by your story. Dig deep into people, all right? It's not just hello. It's not just hold a door. Let's dig a little deeper, okay? Because you never know by asking questions what the opportunity might bring to you. The third thing and the last thing about that clip is the vulnerability of Matt Damon. If you notice, he's an arrogant smartass at the very beginning of that clip. And then as the clip goes on, he gets quieter, quieter, and quieter. And he starts to listen. And he starts to realize, maybe I shouldn't have picked apart his painting the day before. Picking apart a painting is the same thing as picking apart somebody's picture on Instagram, in my opinion. Judging and assuming what his life was about when he didn't have a clue. But the vulnerability by listening also creates opportunity. The second thing, remember, it was be curious and appreciate the little things that I want you guys to walk away with. The little things. So, I think we forget that we're in control. I think we forget we hold the remote control to our mindset. We can turn it up, we can turn it down, we can turn the color up, black and white, whatever we want to do to our own lives. And what I mean by that is, I think a lot of our perspective and our stresses in life can come from the environments that we're in and the things that we hear and things that we see and people extremely negative. People can be grumpy. And it's life. We're human. We're all grumpy. We're all negative at some point. But what I'm getting at is that you're in control. If somebody brings you negativity or brings you stress, you realize you don't have to take it. You don't have to accept it. Yeah. Let them talk. They're fine. Because the other thing that we have to realize is that your thing is not my thing. But your thing is real to you. And that's your thing. And you're allowed to have your thing. And you can be stressed out all day, and I'll let you vent because it's your freedom of speech and I want to hear you, but I don't have to take it in. Okay? So remember that you're in control. Number two, when it comes to these little things, is I was, like I said, I was nervous like that long-tailed cat for speaking to you guys for the last few weeks. And then earlier this week, my wife sent me a podcast. And in this podcast, this guy goes, "You're built for this. You're built for this. You're built for this. You're built for this." And it changed my perspective on this talk. I went from being nervous to excited. What an opportunity I have to sit here in front of you guys and talk to you. And what I mean is you're in control, okay? But you're also built for this. Because guess what? Life can be hard. It can be really hard. Somebody's going to get sick. Somebody's going to have financial issues. Somebody in this room, multiple people in this room are going through some shit right now. It can be chaotic. Storms are going to come and go. We can't choose when they come. We can't choose how big they are. But just remember, you're in control of your perspective of that storm, but also you're a powerful storm yourself. Just because the times are overwhelming, you can overwhelm those times as well. You're a powerful human being, and you're built for this. And lastly, with these little things, I want you all to look under your seats, because Heidi and I got me a little gift. Oh, and they're around the windows too. If you don't have a seat, they're around the windows. So open those up. Hang with me now, hang with me, we're almost done. You can trade tunes like Pokemon or whatever the heck it is. Alright, I got a little finisher I need to hang in there with. Alright, so there's a couple things of this. Alright, I guess you have a cute little animal or Buddha or whatever it is in there. So the story behind this is one day I brought my wife home this little pig. It's just like the pig some of y'all have. And we don't have kids or a pet, so this is our pet. We even named him, and it's Pascal the pig. And he sort of likes to play Elf on the Shelf, too. So I wake up a little earlier than her, and so sometimes Pascal will be in the coffee cabinet when you open it up. And some days he'll be on the air conditioner control. And it brings a smile to our face. And so what got Heidi and I thinking is, researching this and getting ready for this talk, I found a stat that I thought was pretty amazing. It said the average person, after a speech, after a motivational talk, forgets what they learned about within 45 minutes after that talk. Okay? So I thought, you know what? Let's get them a little gift. All right? Now, what I want you to do is put it in your car, put it in your office at work, put it at home somewhere where you're going to see it pretty often. Okay? Because what's going to happen is somebody's going to piss you off. All right? Your kids are going to go nuts one day. You got to realize, let them go through that. I don't have to accept it, but let them go through it. Okay? Somebody's going to get sick. Somebody's going to get hurt. You're going to have a bad day. Storms and chaos are going to come. And guess what? You're a human being. So you're allowed to sit back. You're allowed to cry. You're allowed to take a moment. Okay? We all are. But remember, I want this little animal, whatever the heck you got, I want it to be an anchor for you. Okay? I want it to bring you back to center, to understand the appreciation of little things. Okay? Life is hard. Life is very hard. But look what you're doing right now. Free coffee, free breakfast. There's people 1, 2 blocks away, hundreds of people that would love a free cup of coffee. All right? There's people in other countries that would love to get in their own car and be able to drive here. Okay? So understand that the little things ultimately are what make this life, okay? And bring joy to your life. Those little things, like the little things, create this snowball, all right? And it's gonna put a smile on your face. And the thing that we do at Ethos, I almost said exemplar, which is my old dream. The thing we do at Ethos, that our ultimate why, our mission, broken down so simply, make somebody's day better. Okay? So, if I can get you to leave today, to just be a little bit more curious and appreciate the little things. Hold the door for somebody. Say thank you. Look to the person to your right or left and develop a little more belief in human society. Because it ain't as bad as what the news is portraying. There are some damn good people in this world. All right? And I want you to understand that negativity is an epidemic, but so is positivity. All right? And you can turn that TV off. Instead of watching CNN, I suggest watching headlines. So today, what I want you to do is create a ripple effect. All right? Leave here, call a friend, meet somebody new here, learn about somebody, put a smile on their face. Because you never know, putting a smile on somebody else's face could change their day. And then when they go home to their husband or wife, it could put them in a little bit better mood. All right? And that starts the epidemic, the ripple effect. Thank you so much for the opportunity.